I had to leave a 5-bedroom house, which I will lose now because I'm not going to pay for it. My car behind, my dogs behind, my mother behind.
This man said he left his mother behind. Did you leave her behind in the 5-bedroom house you left? That you're planning on not paying the mortgage for? Hey, well, welcome to Idaho. That's where they're sending them. And apparently they're giving them farmland, so have fun with that. That motherfucker left his mom behind, but you guys are experiencing a G-side. Sure.
To one of the refugees, and he said that he had a 5-bedroom house, a car, if I'm not mistaken, several cars, several dogs. His mom is there, maybe not at the house, but back in South Africa. And he's saying he left all that behind to come to America as a refugee. Now I know refugees can come from all different kinds of backgrounds, but that's the wealthiest refugee I've ever heard of. My God, a 5-bedroom house that nobody came and kicked you out of, nobody took from you. You said you left behind. I don't know the official resources to look at. I don't know. But I know that guy, hearing that out of his own mouth, I'm not going to not call him a refugee. I'm just going to say he's an extremely fortunate person to be able to be considered a refugee and come to America through this process that this administration has allowed them to come. That's all I'm going to say.
Hello guys, and welcome to the J Report. In today's video, we're going to talk about the hilarious reactions from Black Americans after a wealthy group of white South Africans showed up in the US claiming to be refugees. Refugees with 5-bedroom homes, cars, and even coal mines left behind. I mean, when a group of white South Africans landed in the US claiming asylum, it didn't spark admiration or sympathy, it sparked suspicion. For most people, especially Black Americans, the entire situation felt off. Here was a government that was detaining, deporting, and villainizing immigrants of color. And now, out of the blue, they were welcoming a small group of palm-colored Afrikaners on the basis of a so-called G-side in South Africa, one that nobody had seen on any major news outlet, with no concrete reports of verified mass violence. It didn't take long for people to clock the ridiculousness of it all. Because if there was truly a violent G-side targeting palm-colored people in South Africa, wouldn't it be international news? Wouldn't there be the UN sanctions and peacekeeping forces on the ground? Instead, there is silence. And that silence speaks volumes. So the fact that the US government even entertained the asylum claims already smells like racial preference in broad daylight. If this is the kind of content you enjoy, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing so that YouTube may recommend it to a wider audience. And so now, without further ado guys, let's go straight into this video. But first, let me play you a few videos on this matter and I'll come back with my commentary. As a side note, all credit goes to the creators of these videos.
You can't make this shit up. Anybody know who this is? His name is Carl Kleinhaus. He happens to be one of the first South Afrikaners to arrive to the U.S., courtesy of Donald Trump and your tax dollar. Why is he one of the ones that stick out the most? Because while the narrative is they were in fear of their lives and facing poverty in their homeland of South Africa, he's one of the ones that got here and now revealing the truth. Or at least the truth is revealing him. Because Mr. Kleinhaus wasn't facing poverty or struggle or fear of his life. Mr. Kleinhaus is owner of his own mining company in South Africa. Mr. Kleinhaus is leaving a 5-bedroom mansion. Home in South Africa. 5-bedroom home in South Africa. Where he says he left his home, his job, his cars, his dogs, and even his mother. Just grabbed his kids and left. So basically he ran away from his responsibilities, like mortgage and bills. But most importantly, Mr. Kleinhaus is a white supremacist in Africa who has long posted anti-Semitic things about Jews and of course his love for Trump. And he goes on and on to post his racist ideology against Muslims. And so on. Oh yeah, and once again, his love for Trump. Anybody ever notice how those two seem to go hand in hand with the one president of the history of the United States Donald Trump, no other president has ever had this white supremacist groups come fully and completely backing and supporting him, and he welcomes them. So there you have it, MAGA. And still, cricket sounds from you. The more and more all Donald Trump embarrasses and brings shame to this country and you, the more you either show support of what he did by making excuses or cricket sounds.
So as new guests arrive, the new refugees who are coming from South Africa, I cannot help but just imagine what this is going to be. First of all, it's going to be a motherfucking bumpy ride for you all. Like, if you can watch this video, I'm just saying it's going to be a very bumpy ride for you all. Because first of all, this is a political experiment. White Americans did not sign up for this, and they are the majority of this country. Now, if you are telling me that if you are 7% of a population that owns 70% of the country, but you could not make anything out of it, and you want to come to a white majority country, right? And you think something is going to come out of it, is a joke. Okay, the joke is on y'all. And also, secondly, like Trump, if Trump doesn't give a shit about the people who sent him to the White House, his diehard supporters, this was a deal that he cut with Elon Musk, you know, and of course Elon Musk wanting to maintain, you know, his white supremacy bullshit, he decided to ferry all over here, you know, and Trump cut that deal so that they could make him win, and so he had to follow through with that. As soon as you motherfuckers land here, you're too poor for Trump to like you. He doesn't like y'all, okay? And yeah, if he would do anything with y'all, he might use you guys for his elections if he runs again, if the constitution will allow.
From these clips, you can see that black folks aren't fooled. This got more bizarre for them when these so-called refugees did interviews. That's when the truth came tumbling out. Far from fleeing with just the clothes on their backs, these people had left behind 5-bedroom houses, multiple cars, and businesses. One reportedly ran an IT company, another had a whole coal mine. These are people who are doing good, the wealthiest refugees America had ever seen. People are confused, amused, and outraged all at once. Black folks in particular can't help but find the irony hilarious. For decades, African Americans have been told to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and stop complaining, while being denied generational wealth and real opportunities. Meanwhile, here comes a group of well-off South Africans getting a warm welcome and possible work placement under the guise of humanitarian aid. And let's talk about the most jaw-dropping moment. One of the men claimed he had left his mother behind. Now, think about that for a second. If your country was experiencing mass unaliving, would you really pack your bags, book a flight, and say, "Sorry, ma'am, hope you survived the G-side"? The logic doesn't hold water. Either the danger is exaggerated, or you're the worst side on the planet. Neither explanation helps the credibility of the story.
But I just want to say one thing, you know, as y'all come, because having studied the history of South Africa, the Boers, literally, who you are descendants of, you know, they believe that they were God's representatives on earth, okay? And so black people and like everyone else is below them, and they're supposed to be their servants, and they are supposed to rule over anybody else, right? Those are like, I studied that shit. The Boers, right? Who you are their grandchildren. And that goes to tell that after 400 years plus, these people did not mix with the natives. They are not biracial. Did you see any biracial kids in that lot that came through that? No. They are as white as fuck. So that means that they really withhold, or they hold on to that color of their skin. Well, America is a rat race. America will humble you. Okay, I'm giving them 3 to 4 months to flush that shit out of their system, because the moment you open that mouth and a white American realizes you sound different, you ain't one of them. And also, you may think that, oh, because I'm in the midst of white Americans, I can talk shit about black people. You don't even know which territories you might be in and who you might be around. So that shit will not work.
But even more puzzling, these folks apparently have zero farming experience. That's right, the narrative that they were fleeing because white farmers were being attacked fell apart the minute people land. They weren't even farmers. So what gives? Why bring them to America? Some are speculating this might be part of a social experiment by the Trump administration, with increasing pressure to deport undocumented immigrants who do the bulk of farm labor in America. There's now a serious labor gap. Some people believe these Afrikaners are being positioned to fill that void. But just imagine the comedy of that. You leave your 5-bedroom home and IT business in Africa, come to the US claiming persecution, only to end up picking strawberries under the hot sun. And while these Afrikaners are being embraced with open arms, thousands of Haitians, Central America, and African immigrants are languishing in detention centers, facing deportation, or being denied entry altogether. The contrast is loud. It tells you everything you need to know about whose lives are considered valuable and whose suffering is deemed legitimate. Black folks aren't buying it. They see through the smokescreen. The jokes are flying online, but beneath the laughter is real frustration. Frustration that systemic bias is once again playing out in real time. That policies are being bent for palm-colored bodies while black and brown ones are locked out or locked up.
We need to make absolutely certain that you know why Trump is bringing in these white Afrikaners to this country and giving them a free ride at you, the taxpayer, and me, the taxpayer's expense. While MAGA likes to bitch, whine, cry, piss, and moan about spending, no free rides, right? What they mean is, complete the sentence, no free rides for anybody that's black and brown or Asian. Now, the reason why they're doing this point blank and period is because Trump is losing his voter base. Period. They have to be replaced by something. So why not have a group of white people who feel persecuted because equality is erasing their privilege status in another country? So they come here where their privilege status is being enforced over the supreme law of the land, the United States Constitution. I dare you to prove me wrong.
There's also the bizarre audacity of labeling yourself a refugee while sitting comfortably in America, giving interviews about how you left wealth behind. Refugees don't usually have the luxury of choice. They don't arrive with investments and business plans. They arrive with trauma, with loss, with nothing. The fact that this group can casually discuss real estate while claiming asylum is not just ironic, it's insulting to actual refugees who have fled real horror.
It's been a few days now since the 49 South African Afrikaners left for the US. And honestly, social media has been going bonkers. And you know, some people that normally say there's no country that stresses God like South Africa. I'm starting to believe those people now, because not only was it only black people that we're having a laugh about this, even some of the Afrikaners and white people as well. With that being said, guys, I have a question. You know, these questions, it's not even one question, it's questions. And these questions have been playing in my mind since these 49 Afrikaners left for the United States. You know, normally when people claim refugee status in other countries, there's always proof online, things that we see online, that's why they are moving to other countries as refugees. Good examples: when the war started in Ukraine, we used to see on social media what was happening in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, and other countries as well, Afghanistan, and other African countries. So the first question that I have is, based on the fact that they're saying there's Afrikaner genocide in South Africa, where are the videos? Like, I've scrolled through social media trying to find proof of these, because they're saying that the media is not reporting. But I'm like, there should be like more videos online. Still nada. If anybody has seen these videos, can you just share so we can all see this genocide that's going on in South Africa? Now, Americans, come closer, come to the front, because I've got a request for you guys. Can you keep tabs on the situation and give us some tea on how they are doing?
And let's not forget, Afrikaners were part of the ruling class during apartheid. Some of that wealth they're leaving behind, it didn't come from nowhere. It was built during a system of brutal racial segregation and oppression. Now, when the playing field is being leveled just a little, some are claiming persecution. That's rich. So yes, The reactions have been hilarious. They've exposed the absurdity of the situation and the double standards baked into immigration policy. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about who gets to come to America. It's about who is welcomed with dignity and who is discarded without thought. This group of so-called refugees might have thought they were escaping something, but they've stepped into a spotlight they weren't ready for. And while they may be getting housing and media attention now, the question remains, what happens when the cameras stop rolling and it's time to do the hard work they never trained for? Because wealth can get you far, but it can't grow crops, and asylum built on shaky stories doesn't always hold up when reality kicks in. America may be full of contradictions, but one thing's for sure, Black Americans have never missed a beat when it comes to calling out nonsense. And this situation, they clocked it from day one. So let the laughter continue, because sometimes comedy is the only way to cope with the ridiculous. But also, let this be a reminder, policy rooted in bias will always crumble under scrutiny.
These South African refugees better keep their mouth shut, because they know they lied to get over here, okay? Because we know we got a dude that owned an IT company, somebody that was a co-owner in a mine. Nobody owned a farm, okay? These are not farmers. And any threat that they may have had nothing to do with them owning a farm and possibly getting their land taken away from them, because they didn't even have any. And I hope they know they out here doing interviews and articles that they out here telling on themselves, and that you can get your citizenship revoked. You can go to jail. You can get fines, and you can get deported for lying on them immigration forms. It may not be this administration that will come in and revoke your stuff, but it could be the next administration. Keep that in mind.
So what do you all think about this situation? Do you believe the Afrikaners were really fleeing danger, or was this something else entirely? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it from me. I also have another video about Walmart raising its prices due to tariffs, and if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing, because it helps me grow my channel. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, the Joy Report out.